We are doing a 12-hour live stream. Come hang out on this Saturday, March 9th. Saturday, March 9th from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time, I think. So come hang out. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're not going to want to miss it. How's it going, YouTube? My name is Ninja7, your resident Mistweaver monk. And in today's video, I'm finally going to be covering my mythic Tindril kill as Mistweaver monk. Now, we're going to kind of break things down because I know that a lot of you guys are progging on this boss, but also I want to have a lot of general knowledge for rating as Mistweaver in this video. That way, it's not just meant for Mistweavers specifically on Tindril. It's kind of my thought processes at certain moments in certain fights, or just in this fight, and kind of what I notice about my pool. But guys, this was not a perfect pool. I did parse 87, and it was our prog pool. So honestly, it was pretty good. I'm very happy with those results, and we made it to the end. We killed the boss, so I can't be upset about that. But I do make a couple concessions throughout the fight to make sure that I'm doing everything that I can to make sure that the boss falls over. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. Now, I have made a semi-part one to this video before we even killed the boss, kind of walking through my thought processes so far and how I learn a fight as Mistweaver, and kind of like plan out my cooldowns and stuff, and some things that I was doing wrong or right in the first two phases of this fight. But now that we finally have the kill, I kind of want to do a more in-depth analysis. So that's what today's video is going to be like, but I don't want to make it too long. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Now, there were a couple things that I had noticed from the pools prior to this one. So we had made it to phase 3 a couple times this night. We honestly thought that we were going to kill it a lot faster. Since this was a Thursday kill, on Tuesday we had made it to phase 3 very often. We even had a 2% wipe, a 1.9% wipe. So we thought this thing was going to fall over before our break. That did not happen. This was one of the last pulls of the night. It was like 10:50, and we end raid at 11. So it was a very long, kind of miserable raid night. Everyone was kind of getting antsy and stuff. But I was trying to focus all of my energy on thinking, what could I do better on the next few pools? If we know that the next pool could be the kill, what is something that I could change? And there were a few things that I noticed. Like every time we'd make it into P3, I would really pay attention to my resources, cooldown management, because I knew that after only a couple pulls in P3, this fight usually dies. So I wanted to have everything perfect and put a lot of emphasis on that. So you'll notice that I really kind of get stingy with my mana in P3 because I know that I just don't have that much. I also kind of do a good job about pressing my cooldowns when I should. So I kind of pick and choose my cooldowns a little bit better in P3 as opposed to in P1 and 2. I kind of just send it so that the next one is on a good timer. But let me go ahead and start this. And once again, this always starts, videos like this as a Mistweaver always start before the pool. So your rotation starts before the pool. And I mean that because in P3, like I said, I was very strained on mana. Now, I would have been much more strained if I didn't start the pool with 20 mana T-stacks. And you'll see here, I do it by just casting Vivify, Enveloping Mist, Vivify, Enveloping Mist before a pool. That way you build up those stacks as fast as possible, and it's just less buttons so you have to press. But where I start this pool is I start it out here by green. Now, most of my raid is pulling the boss to square, so most of the raid is there, and as long as most of your raid starts there, you're gonna bait that first beam there. But it's okay if, a couple people are standing out in Narnia or where the boss is gonna come to, like us. It's fine if we do it, as long as most of your raid group doesn't kind of give up on standing in melee there, it's fine. So our rotation starts at about 12 to 11 seconds, basically 11 seconds, your rotation starts. Now, if you remember from my last video, I was starting my rotation at 8 seconds. Right once our pool timer hit 8 seconds, I was renewing misting and then, drinking my mana tea. But I started it at 11 seconds, and you'll see here that I'm casting an enveloping mist, and one of you guys actually recommended this. So as you know, this first renewing mist is literally just, we're going to cast it at about 8 seconds. It's just to get this on cooldown because it'll be up again before pool, and we'll basically start the pool off with one free renewing mist. But if you start it with an enveloping mist, you're going to get a free rapid diffusion proc, and that renewing mist will be in its like pandemic window basically. So if you apply a renewing mist to that person, see, I just used one of my 2 renewing mist charges. You can see it up here as well. I Renewing Misted Hodor Smash after enveloping misting someone else, then the duration of your normal, the 20-second enveloping mist or renewing mist will be added on top of the 6-second rapid diffusion. So it's just a way to get a longer renewing mist for free. One of you guys recommended that, and I actually liked it. It's pretty cool tip. You see there, right at 8 seconds, I cast that renewing mist, and I just start chugging that Mana Tea, and it's going to give us a Mana Tea buff for the first 20 seconds of the pool for free. So it's just a mana reduction, but it's mana not spent now that we have later. You'll also notice I did change up my rotation a little bit. I believe in the last video we also had a Windwalker monk, but you'll notice, well, you guys can't really see it. This is my health bar down that my face is blocking. The one that my face is blocking is my health bar, but you guys have it here. I am the only monk in the group, so I need to tag this boss with some amount of damage as early as possible. So right once I finish drinking my Mana Tea, this pool count goes to 0. I fire a Chi Burst first global, and you'll see this little yellow damage number, and then you'll see here on Tindral, he has Mystic Touch. So I did that job. I can check up my first box off. If I missed there, which every now and then it would miss, I would have to wait till he runs in here and Rising Sun Kick. I could Jade Lightning, but that button sucks. So I just shoot a Chi Burst where he's going to go, and 9 times out of 10 I hit him. But so then I start my first ramp. Once again, this first ramp is not ideal. It's not that I'm trying to do a huge ramp here. It's literally just because our first necessary ramp is at least a minute into the fight. So we want to use this one here to kind of set up our next one's cooldown. So if we don't use this one here, then we would literally just sit on this Yu'lon cooldown for longer than a minute. So that's why we just rip it there. And you'll notice that this first beam that the whole group baits, it's going to shoot 2 beams out at us that we have to dodge. So what I do is I ramp until I see if this first beam is coming at us. And if you remember from last video, we did talk about that. And if it is, I just sidestep to dodge it and then start spamming Vivifies until this one's about to hit me. And then I move to the right to dodge it once again. Same thing every single pool. Now, just like Yu'lon, our seedling timers also matter. So if you're not running seedling, then you guys can kind of ignore this part, but seedling is also very important. And one thing that you're going to see me do is I kind of use the mechanics to time my buttons. So right here, I know that we're about to get roots. Everyone in the whole raid is going to get rooted, and we're going to take a big chunk of damage. So what I do is right before the roots hit us, I summon the seedling, because you want to have it summoned already before the root and the damage hits. That way you get the full healing by the time all the damage hits. So I use my Dispel as that mechanic. So you see here, this little orange circle is kind of when we're going to get rooted. But you see here, my Dispel is about to happen. I have to Dispel person number 4, the 4th person. So you'll see that I summon my seedling right before I have to do my Dispel. That way I can just focus on positioning and then Dispel that person, and then I immediately go into spamming heals into my seedling. And it's just so powerful because look at how much healing we're doing. We're Vivify spamming into seedling, but we're also cleaving with Invigorating Mist on all those heals. And then I know that we're about to have to move to this next section. So after my seedling fades away, I have enough time to get a Thunder Focus Tea, double Enveloping Mist off, which is what I do there. And then as I walk, I use this time to chug Mana Tea. Now, this is not the most efficient way to use Mana Tea, but it is downtime that we would be moving otherwise. And it's good time to chug Mana Tea. So you'll see I chug as many stacks as I can, which just happens to be all of them. And then I time my Shayloon's Gift to hit right as that root hits. So right when the root hits, like 5 people are going to get healed because I'm running Legacy of Wisdom. And then I know that coming into this next little portion, I'm about to hit Revival. And then 10 seconds later, I'm going to hit Yu'lon. And you'll notice somewhere up here, I'm going to have the Shao's Lesson buff through all of that. Wherever it is, I have Shao's Lesson basically. I guess it's down here too. You can't really see it. I have 16 seconds of Shao's Lesson crit buff. That is going to buff my Revival that I'm about to press, or Restoral basically. And it's also going to buff basically this entire Yu'lon. So we Shayloon's Gifted. We hit Revival. Now, it's very important. I was assigned to revival the mechanic that is about to hit. So let me show you guys again. So the roots hit as my Shayloons goes off. And then I was assigned this next mechanic that's about to hit us. So this big falling star was assigned to me for revival. But I hit it there before the falling star hits. So no one has taken damage from falling star yet, but I used my revival. Why? Well, just to put it simply, we were just losing people to falling star. So I took it upon myself to sacrifice a little bit of my own restoral healing to make the group safer. So ideally, you wait until after this big slam of damage to revival, but you see there, if I would have waited, who knows, we could have lost the mage, maybe even a hunter. It was happening like every pool. So I just made the personal decision. I don't care if my revival heals into a couple full health bars. My idea is to get everyone to full so no one gets one shot by that mechanic. So that's why revival basically inefficiently, but in the grand scheme of things, when your goal is to kill the boss and not to parse, then it was an efficient revival in my opinion. So that's why revival before that damage hits. And I did that every single pool, and I liked it. We did not lose anyone there since I started doing that. And then you'll see here my revivals, or I'm sorry, my Yulon is coming off cooldown. We're about to get roots, and we're about to get a beam that we're gonna have to gate out. That's what this gate is aimed at. So what I am focusing on is I'm getting ready for my next Yulon. And just like my last seedling where I used my dispel timer to time my Yulon, I do the same thing. We lose about a second or about a full global cooldown out of our Yulon window to waste it on dispelling someone, but it sets up our next Yulon timer to where we lose less time on our next Yulon. And when we get there, I'll explain what I mean. So here we're gonna, right once it's about to be time for my dispel, you'll see I summon Yulon and then I dispel. And yes, we wasted a second of Yulon while Yulon's out, but then we get to start our ramp safely instead of summoning Yulon after that dispel comes out. And yeah, we get as many enveloping mist cast as we can before we take the gate, and then I use Thunder Focus Tea and hit 2 people with enveloping mist and start spamming Vivifies into one person to just get as many Vivify casts as I can off before these beams kind of collapse in on us. And then I always would move into this big open area so I could just drink my Mana Tea and be as safe as possible. So you move toward all those dispel zones, drink your Mana Tea. Once again, it's not the most efficient Mana Tea because yes, we did get mana back on our bar, but we're literally about to waste 12 seconds of this Mana Tea buff. But if you know anything about this fight, you know how high octane phase 2 is or platform 2 is. So by drinking it all here, I'm basically saying I'd rather just get the mana back now than come into platform 2 with full stacks and not have enough time to drink them, or drinking it on platform 2 and just wasting a big chunk of my ramp, my first ramp. So I just chug all the Mana Tea back. I use my mana pot here because let's see, my mana pot, I just used it because I want it on cooldown. I want to use it early, even though our mana bar is not threatened. I want to use it early so I can get a second one off in phase 3 or phase 2 whenever I can. So yeah, we drink a whole thing. I try to spew out a couple Essence Font bolts, only because it would be mana reduced for Mana Tea, and having these Essence Font bolts ticking on people is nice. Okay, you don't have to do it, but it's something that I like to do every now and then when I felt I was doing good on my mana. But you see here, I try to go through this flight. This is a pretty Tindral specific tip, but I'm blocking it. Let's see if I can turn my camera off. Oh goodness. So I go through this flight and I try to make it to this first little fire ring that I just passed through with at least one ready, because I always like to use one between the first 2 red rings. And then from here, I try to save as many, I think it's called like Astral Vigor charges, this here, where you can get your Vigor back. I try to save at least 2 of those for the second intermission. So I use one and then I just spam the rest into my little quick flight button. So spam, spam, spam. Now, one cool trick that I kind of started using was dismounting. So I would press my mount button to dismount. And as I'm falling, yes, you risk taking fall damage, so you have to be careful. Here, I press it pretty high up, admittedly, but as you're falling, you can do two very important things. And while I turn my camera on, you can set down your Jade Serpent statue, which is very important. You want to have it on all three platforms that you go to, and that's just an important tip as Mistweaver. If you're going to be in fights that kind of dissect the room or go to different platforms, you have to resummon that Jade Serpent statue as soon as possible. That way you get just residual value from it. But as well as summoning your Jade Serpent statue as you fall, you can also drink mana tea. So on some pools, some more ideal pools, I would drink all but like 3 stacks of my mana tea on platform 1. And I would save those last 3 stacks for as I was falling. Just a fun little tip. But in this pool, I believe I summon my Jade Serpent statue as I'm falling. You see there, I put it there, and then as you're falling, you can still like apply renewing mist and stuff. But earlier I talked about pressing your Yulon before your dispel, and it kind of took a second off of that Yulon's timer that you're wasting to dispel that person. But the reason being is you want to summon that Yulon even earlier than I did. So like 2 seconds before you get that last dispel off on platform 1, because this is the most important Yulon. This first one on platform 2, which we are not lusting, by the way, we moved our lust onto platform 3. So you would rather have more time, more efficient of Yulon timer here than that last one on platform 1. And you'll see here I'm kind of getting punished because I waited until right before I dispelled that person to summon Yulon on platform 1, whereas I should have pressed it like 2 seconds earlier, gotten one enveloping mist off, gone and dispelled that person, and then continued my ramp. But yeah, I'm getting punished because we're still sitting at 5 seconds on Yulon, and I need to start my ramp now. So I spend this time renewing mist, and then I'll Shayloons to get the Shao's lesson stack, because I'm sitting at 10 stacks now. I ideally every pool I would Shayloons. But then we're still at 1 second of Yulon, so I kind of waste that 1 second by using Thunder Focus Tea and waiting, and then Yulon, and then I can start the ramp. But yeah, it's just a little efficient by 1 second. If I could go back and change something, it would be to summon Yulon a second earlier on platform 1, and then this ramp would have been a bit more efficient. But you see there, we summoned a couple of enveloping mists, and then what I do on this ramp is I always watch this bar. When the bar gets about a little less than halfway through, I stop casting enveloping mists and I start capitalizing on the ones that I have with as much of a soothing mist vivify spam as I can. So I guess I can go back 10 seconds, show it again. So I'm watching this bar. This bar is the shield where he is pulsing damage to us. So you don't want to wait until the shield is gone to start your vivify spam. You want to wait until you're about halfway through. That way you still catch these last few ticks with your vivifies. But yeah, that's what I do. So enveloping mist, enveloping mist, enveloping mist. Keep spamming that, and then once it gets to about halfway, you'll see me stop, soothing mist, and spam vivifies, and I catch that last tick with big vivify spam. You see all these hots ticking. Now, same as last video, I really liked how I handled this early portion of stage 2 or phase 2, where right after that ramp, I go straight into a mana tea and I don't chug it all the way, because after I chug a few stacks, I know that a falling star is about to come out. So I chug, well, here I chugged it all. Wow, okay. I guess I did it wrong. But then I'd start spamming a few enveloping mist around and then just cleave healing onto this person. And I think what happened here is that moment was a moment that I kind of audibled after the last pool, because like I said, last pool we made it to phase 3 and I was completely out of mana. So here I was thinking ahead. I think instead of catching more of that healing required there from that falling star, so instead of healing more now, I was kind of conceding some of this current healing for mana later on. I think that's what my thought process was in the moment. So instead of casting about 4 enveloping mists, we only get 2 off before we start spamming a vivify into someone. So I'm doing less healing here than I was on pools past, but I'll have a little bit more mana because I chugged those mana tea stacks later on. But you see here, I'm just spamming Soothing Mist because I know a root is about to come out. or I'm sorry, a dispel, and I know that I use my seedling in the same exact way as I do every single pool. So I know I'm about to dispel, so I use that dispel timer to line up my seedling, and that's why I summoned seedling, kind of ignored it, and then after I dispel, I'll kind of go and spam heals into it. So I'd do my dispel, and then I just spam renewing mist, spam a soothing mist, and I get a good bit of cleave healing from that. Now I go out, try to get my root, but I think someone got mine. But in the past few pools, someone would get mine and there would always be one over here. So my eyes immediately went over here, just checking to make sure there wasn't a free one. But I look, the room is clear of roots, so I come back in and just get right back to healing. So I'm healing our hunters because one of them is like almost always our Dispel 4. And I just want to keep them as healthy and topped up here on this set of dispels as possible. Now, throughout our progress, I picked up a lot of responsibility in dispelling people, which I guess healers always do, but I would have assigned life cocoons or protection points and Tiger's Lust people. And this dispel set, I believe this is dispel. Oh, this is dispel 2. I think it was either this one or the third one that I was assigned to always life cocoon person 4. So here I am, I'm keeping person 3 alive. My eyes are also on person 4 though. I'm going to make sure that I get enough time before this next falling star or this next raid damage to heal person 4. And I believe, yeah, just life cocoon them to be safe. So I spam healing into person 3 because if they die, everyone takes a big slam of damage. We all wipe basically. And then same with person 4. So I spam heals into person 3 and then life cocoon person 4. My eyes are on those people. Yes, I could have used this time to get more healing out of it by like renewing missing 2 people and then casting a couple enveloping mist around. Technically, my throughput would be probably a little bit better, but you risk dying. You risk wiping the raid. That's never worth it. Just do the priority healing. Do the mechanics and you'll be a better player for it. Who cares about your parses? You'll be a better player for it. So once again, these 2 people, I know one of them's about to get the dispel. I want to protect them at all costs. So I vivify one, spam vivifies into the next one. And then I keep person 3 alive while keeping my eyes on 4. I go life cocoon him. And then yeah, once again, it's kind of the same old, same old. So there you see me revival. And on this next big damage instance, I'm going to Yulon. So I Yulon here for this root. I should have, during that root collection, I should have gotten my root planted, casted a Shayloon's Gift, but we we waste this Shayloon's Gift here a bit. So I think I'm about to stop my ramp to cast a Shayloon's Gift. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm doing. Ooh, you see there, we almost lost one of our key healers, which I guess I didn't even notice at the time. I think I was looking here and looking at Shayloon's Gift. You'll see here, Nico. Ooh, he drops very low. He drops extremely low. That was really bad on my part. But once again, my role here was just to keep 3 and 4 alive, basically. So I do my ramp, try to keep the whole raid alive, and then I watch 4's health bar, and I just keep my hots rolling. Now, one thing that is really bad about this pool that, once again, if I could go back and change, it's my mana tea usage at this phase. So like I said, this whole phase, this whole platform is high octane. There's so much to focus on. You're always healing. So it's really hard to find times to chug mana tea, but you should be drinking like 2 stacks here and there, especially right before your Thunder Focus Tea and right before you cast Yulon. The reason why I always like to do it before Thunder Focus Tea is because I know in most cases I'm about to double Renewing Mist or double Enveloping Mist, and I can save a lot of mana that way by drinking like 1 or 2 stacks. So it's just an efficient use of it. But I should have been drinking here. I definitely should have been drinking before this Dispel, or right after this Dispel comes out. Everyone's topped up. Right now I should be drinking as I'm running out to get my thing. It's just very inefficient. So we're sitting at 20 stacks. But I am just so hard focused on keeping people alive that I don't even think I noticed it in real time. But here, once again, we're chugging as many stacks as we can before platform 3. But like I said, one change that I made was instead of drinking all the stacks before we go on to the next platform, I saved some of them because ideally we can chug them as we land onto this next platform, or at least have them on this next platform. So then we do this flight, and I'm pretty sure I tag fire there. So, yeah, so I tagged fire there, but luckily, like I said, I saved these extra ones. What are they called? Second winds, or else I would have just been dead there. But we drop down, we summon our statue once again. We Shayloon's gift. I drink that manatee. I Shayloon's gift, and I start this ramp, and we go absolutely buck wild. But I noticed once again from the last few pools that I was kind of being too fast and loose with my mana on this early part of phase 3. So that's why you see me kind of cut my ramp short. So once again, we spawn here. I cast a couple of Enveloping Mist, but I don't go too crazy with it. I go like 4, and then I just do the 4 Enveloping Mist and start spamming. And then here, I am already in mana mode. My mind is only thinking about my mana and my responsibilities. So you see me here drinking Manatee immediately after that ramp, just like in Platform 2. There's a little bit of downtime before his next mechanic, so I'm drinking as much as I can, but trying to save a couple stacks just in case. You'll see me do that this whole platform. I save like 5 or 6 stacks. I never want to be caught with 0 mana and 0 stacks. So once this first big slam comes out, before I was using my seedling here, but I think I end up saving the seedling for like another few seconds after this flare bomb, I'm pretty sure, because I know that there's another big phase here. Yes, I would use it for this root. Now on the pool right before this one, we wiped a couple seconds after this, but what I did was after we break these roots, I would roll out to Skull, summon my seedling, and get literally 0 value from it. I don't know why I was doing that. So the quick audible that I made was I seedlinged right here, right once we're all rooted. I'm already standing still casting. I might as well cast into the seedling. You see here, we get excellent healing from it. Excellent, we get the full heal on it. And then I get to move out. Yes, there's still a couple seconds left on seedling. You see here, there's 5 whole seconds on seedling. It's fine. It's done its job. I've gotten its full proc. I'm pretty sure, yeah, you can see here this bar. Oh, I guess you can't, but I guess you barely can. We've gotten the full heal from seedling. And I know that I'm about to have to move out here. Everyone's basically topped up. I just need to specifically focus on my roots. So I manatee drink, which is probably a waste. I probably shouldn't have even done it there. I essence fonted because I knew I was about to be moving. I can't plant and cast, and I just wanted to do some AoE healing. And you see there, did I even step on a plant? I'd like to think I did. So we get wild mushrooms. Let's see, we do our dispel thing. Now this part of the fight was extremely dangerous. I've kind of lost where we are. Okay, so I move in, I do step on my plant. Yeah, so I make sure and run through all of those, making sure that one of them doesn't get accidentally messed up. I don't think it gave me the buff. I don't think I did step on one, but I walked through everyone that was in my zone, and we're good to go. But, sorry, I skipped ahead a bit. I meant to skip back. But this part was extremely dangerous, and everyone was kind of getting panicky on the past few pools. So we really wanted to keep comms low, which obviously I don't really talk much. But I knew that I was very low on mana. I had a minute left on my potion. I also knew that 2 big like healer cooldowns were about to come up. So in my mind, I just start thinking, what can I do? So I start weaving in some damage, and you'll see I even use Tindral here because I'm like, I need to at least use Tindral. If I'm going to die with no mana, at least use everything in my disposal. So right here during this Dispel set, this is the most dangerous one. You have to keep person 3 and 4 alive as the healer. So I'm using the last juice that I have to keep these 2 people alive. And I dispel them, I press revival, everyone is safe. I'm just watching my feet, and now you see me start doing damage. Extinction Blast, which is Iridol. I'm Tiger Palming, doing whatever I can. I'm even not healing that much in this Soothing Mist, or in this root phase, because I know that I'd rather have my mana for my next Yulon. So I'm literally AFK, and then I Manatee, press Yulon, do a couple Enveloping Mist, then I'm going to Shayloons, use my last bit of mana here. Another mana T-Chug in the middle of my Yulon ramp. I don't care if I use the last bit of mana. I just have to let people survive through this ramp. Also, we're also assigned to do the gate here. But if you know anything about this fight, you know that this last gate usage is pretty risky. You're kind of standing on top of a dispel and you're taking the gate as that person gets dispelled. So me as a monk, I know I have plenty of mobility. I'm not going to save my last few roll charges for World of Warcraft 2. I'm just going to use them right here. So I roll to safety instead of using the gate because it's technically the safer option, I think. So I roll out. I know that I have 10 stacks of Shayloons. I know that I have a little juice left in the tank. I'm looking at my Mana Tea stacks. I still have both Renewing Mist charges, but honestly, this boss is about to die. Do I even use them is what I'm thinking. So I roll out to safety. You're going to see me Shayloons probably. No, I Thunder Focus Tea apparently first. Oh, because I had to do spot healing. So yeah, I spot healed that Dispel person. So once again, I roll out. My eyes are glued on this 4 person. Oof, we lose a couple people, but as long as number 4 stays alive, that is my goal. So there, I chug the last few stacks. I just do it, what little healing. Man, I am sitting on the Shaylin's Gift. I probably should have just ripped it. But yeah, we just saved number 4. I guess literally anyone in the raid could have died and we still would have killed this boss here. But if number 4, if a Dispel person dies, we wipe. So that is kind of what you see me panic here a bit for. I'm like, oh, he'll do whatever I can. So I top up Rob, and yeah, a couple people died, but we can just B-res them, and we're fine. But if number 4 died, once again, we wipe. But there, I'm like super low on mana. I'm like, look, no one's gonna wipe to these roots unless we all stack. So I just start pumping damage a little bit there. So I'm just weaving in damage spells, trying to make sure, even though I'm out of mana, I can get some globals off. You see there, my final global is a Shayloon's Gift. So I don't know. It just gets really hectic there. But you always have to think ahead. If you just spam your mana, then the last few seconds of a fight are gonna be hell. And yeah, I kind of get punished by it there. I wish I managed my Mana Tea a bit better toward the end of P2, and maybe it wouldn't have been as stressful in P3. But you see there, if you only have a little bit of mana, think about wipes. Don't think about trying to be the hero and healing a bunch and saving everyone. Think about what will wipe us. And in this instance, it was if I let number 4 die, if I let these dispels die, we wipe. But if anyone else dies, we're fine. So I just healed number 4, and yeah, we killed the boss. Once again, we can watch like the last 10 seconds again in full time because I kept pausing it. I'm sorry, but yeah, we're low on mana. We're panicking. I'm like, oh shit, it's about to die. But I usually am pretty good at keeping my cool in these moments. So I'm like, that's all I'm thinking about is just cast what you can, and keep some DPS alive, and then we kill the boss. So once again, Tindral finally down. Hopefully this helps some of you guys not just kill Tindral, but whatever boss you're progging on. Remember, everyone's at their own section of the game. You're all at your own level. Myself, I'm not a cutting edge player yet this season. Cross our fingers we can get that done before season 4 comes out, but take the game at your own pace. Hopefully this video helped you at whatever level you're on, even though it was pretty boss specific to Tindral. But I know a lot of us are stuck on Tindral, especially a lot of the Mistweaver community. And I feel like this boss is hard enough and has a lot of moving pieces, and it's a very long fight to where there's a lot of transferable knowledge. So hopefully this helps you guys with Raid Mistweaver. By the way, my name's Elwood Ninja 7, your resident Mistweaver. And thank you all for so much support lately. In fact, we are doing a 12-hour live stream. You guys absolutely loved the first 12-hour live stream that we did back in like season 2, where we had a bunch of Mistweaver events planned. We have the same thing going, except now it's not just Mistweaver. We have a couple events planned. As you see, I take a screenshot. But we have a lot of events planned. So come hang out on this Saturday, March 9th. Saturday, March 9th from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time, I think. So come hang out. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're not going to want to miss it. And you guys can even take part in one of the events too. So yeah, once again, 12-hour stream. But thank you so much to all of you guys for watching this video, and especially to the patrons that keep this channel alive. I would not be here making videos without these guys. So give them a huge shout out. And also, if you want to join them and their names on the screen, then check out that Patreon link down in the description below. There are so many different tiers that you can choose from, choose to support, and I would appreciate them all the same. But thank you guys so much. Click like and subscribe on your way out, and comment your favorite tip down below. Do all the sellout stuff. You guys know the drill. But thank you so much for all the support nonetheless. I'll see you guys in the next video. Now go get that Tindral kill. Go prog whatever boss you're on. You guys got this. If you have any questions, hit me up on Discord. Feel free to. I answer every single question that you guys throw at me. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care.